need the LASIK, just email us, we'll send it to you. There's always a form, not always, just for this stuff, for the optical and the laser and the hearing form. Yeah, hang on just a second. So you do that, yes.
Hi, I may be a bit off topic, but you're talking about eyes. About a couple of months ago, I went to my ophthalmologist because my vision was impaired. And I presented, you know, my Medicare with my supplemental. Mm-hmm. And I had a detached retinas in both eyes. So instead of having surgery, he lasered away and I'm fine. But I must have signed something strange in the office because I did get reimbursed by my supplemental for, say, $300. And then the ophthalmologist is saying I have to pay $3,500 for the rest. And if I don't, I should go to Medicare. Did I do something wrong?
We'll have to talk. I'll have to see what you're saying.
Yeah, it's ophthalmologist.
Yeah. And sometimes, not so much for a retina type of issue, but sometimes for cataract or whatever, they'll say, oh, it'll be less invasive and all if we do it with a laser. And Medicare's not going to pay for a laser for the cataract replacement. They're going to pay for the traditional, take the knife, take it out, put it in. So I don't know about this situation. We'll have to do some exploration for you.
Thank you.
Yep. So we did LASIK. The last one under optical is multifocal lenses for cataract surgery. The latest and greatest technology is multifocal replacement lenses. They claim that if you have one of these, you don't need glasses. It's like the lens will adjust and you can see distance, you can see close. Up until about 4 years ago, Medicare wouldn't pay anything towards multifocal lenses. Nothing. And they're not cheap. So we provide reimbursement. You can only do it once in a lifetime. We do $500 per eye if you get these fancy lenses. They're called multifocal or toric, T-O-R-I-C. And you know, it can be $2,000 to $3,000 per eye that you're paying to get these lenses. And we'll pay $500 per eye for that. The one caution I give, it may have improved, but we had one retiree who was just honest. You got to cover this, you got to cover this, you got to cover this. Finally, we covered it. We grandfathered her in. I saw her a couple of months after that and said, did you get the check? She goes, yes, but it's the worst thing I ever did. She said, because I had the surgery in October, and in November, I'm driving and I'm getting such glare at night, I can't see. I went back to the surgeon and he said, I'm sorry. If I take them out, you may go blind. So now she's got the multifocal lenses. She's got the $1,000 reimbursement, but she can't drive at night. Now, that's a question to ask if you're looking at these lenses.
They've improved.
I'm sure they've improved. Yeah, I'm sure they've improved, but that was just something you don't think about. You know, the single vision lenses, they've been doing that for 30 years.
No, I have the multi.
Yeah, yeah. So that's something to think about there. So I'm glad they've improved that. Hearing aids, we provide $800 towards a hearing aid. The chapter will kick in another $800. And once every 3 years. Yeah, we didn't do many hearing aids for you while you were active. But we do an awful lot now that you're retired. So I'm figuring that when you were active and you lost your hearing, it was a good thing. But now you're retired and you can't hear the grandkids, it's a bad thing. So $800 towards that. They are very expensive, I get that. Apparently, if you believe, was it 60 Minutes the other night? Or was it CBS in the morning? But they're making some changes to the law where other types of amplifiers, like so Bose and Samsung can offer things.
Able to get it at Costco.
That will be able to. Well, Costco has hearing aids, a pair of hearing aids for $1,800.
No, but you're able to buy them all
Yeah. But Costco has, they're fairly highly rated, you know, Bluetooth programmable and all. for like $17.95 a pair. You know, where if you go to get from a hearing, whatever, you know, a dedicated hearing store, hearing aids similar quality could be $2,500 a piece. So,
Question.
yes,
So how do you get reimbursed from the two separate funds for the hearing aid?
okay, we would send you a voucher for the hearing aid, and if you go to a non-participating store, you would send us back the voucher and a bill. We'd send you $800, and then the chapter will know that you spent $2,000 for a hearing aid, and we paid $800, and they'll send you a check automatically for the other $800.
Okay, because my husband had gotten hearing aids and we received the $800
Right.
reimbursement, but not the other.
Let's talk afterwards, because, you know, we want to let's make sure that you joined the chapter with it, and you added him to your membership. We're smart enough to know that if, you know, the welfare fund covers member and spouse, the chapter you have to elect to cover a spouse. And if you didn't cover the spouse, then we can't give benefits to the spouse. So let's talk afterwards and we'll double check and make sure.
How do we double check that?
You let me know. Just shoot me an email and we'll double check. Hathaway@csawf.org. Actually, I should have given you Christie's. Yeah.
Could you just repeat what you said about making sure your spouse is checked?
Yeah. We can check, or the retiree chapter can check and make sure that you included your spouse in the chapter membership. Because they only do it to people that pay for it. We do it for everybody. We're the nice guys. And my email is dhathaway@csawf.org. Okay?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that again?
Hathaway,
At CSA.
CSAWF for welfarefund.org.
Thank you.
I forget what CSA is now. The union is CSA-NYC. Years ago, CSA was the Chicago Software Association. So that's why it was the hyphen NYC. Home health aides. We put this in, God knows how long ago. Back about 2004, 2005. The idea was that you go in for surgery or you're hospitalized and you come out, the hospital is trying to get you out as soon as they can. And you really may not be able to take care of yourself properly. Or you may not be able to properly take care of your spouse or partner adequately. So you need someone to come in and help out for a little while. That's home health aid. As long as there's a certification from a provider that is needed, that will reimburse your expenses up to $8,000 a year, $24,000 lifetime. That's $8,000 for you, that's $8,000 for a spouse. If you're a member of the chapter, they kick in another 20% of what we reimburse, so that's another $1,600. So the idea was that you're hospitalized, they throw you out as soon as you start bleeding. So now it's time to, get some help up and down stairs, getting to doctors or whatever. And unfortunately, people have used this up all along. We've increased it. We started originally at $4,000. We've doubled it now to $8,000. Yeah.
But only if you've been hospitalized.
No, if there's other reasons, originally it was just hospitalized. But if you have other reasons, we can consider that. We've liberalized it a little bit. If there's a cognitive issue with someone, and you may need to get out for an afternoon every once in a while. Trust me, I know, to retain your sanity. Yeah.
Does it include hospice care, like someone that stays 24/7?
Well, hospice care is different than what we would do. Hospice care would be covered.
But if you had an aide come that's
But
going on hospice care,
if you have an aide come, if the money's available, you can take, it'll be covered, up to the $8,000. Once the money's gone, the money's gone. We'll probably be increasing this again. We haven't found a limit where people don't need it. So let's say we increase it from 8,000 a year to 10,000 a year. Everybody that already maxed out at the 24,000 would now have another $6,000 worth of reimbursement available. And I wish I could say that nobody used it. It's probably the second most popular benefit after dental. And it's really, it's amazing. It's all of a sudden, I didn't know this. It's like, well, but we try to keep educating. The stop loss, we continue. Once you get to be Medicare eligible, it really doesn't play much of a role because it's for unreimbursed expenses. Generally, Medicare, GHI, Medicare, whoever your supplement are, cover everything. The only time this might be useful is if you go to a doctor who says, I'm better than Medicare, right? You go to a doctor that says, I don't take any insurance, I don't take Medicare. You want me, you pay me. Well, what we do is we look at the Medicare allowable charge, which is significantly less than you're being charged. Take 25% of that, make it our allowable charge, and then subject it to a $1,000 deductible for the catastrophic. So, a $100,000 bill, the allowable charge may only be $10,000, in which case our allowable is $2,500. So we're going to put $1,000 there, so we're only looking at reimbursing a portion of $1,500 out of that total amount. But it's something. The reason we do that is we don't have the resources to replace Medicare. So in cases where people consciously elect to do that, we can provide some relief, but we can't be Medicare. Because if all of a sudden we become Medicare, then nobody's going to go to Medicare. So that's why we do that. We talked about prescription copay a little bit. If you're pre-Medicare, in Express Scripts, every 3 months you get a report from Express Scripts showing you what your drug utilization is. We ask you to save those up to the end of the year and then send us copies. Don't send me the original. I said this 18 years ago, I didn't trust the post office, it's even more so now. It took a month to get an optical voucher. There were gentlemen in Queens. From here to Queens. Lower Manhattan has got the worst